boyfriend went through my messages. I never lied nor cheated, yet he is mad at me. My 23F boyfriend, 23M, asked to borrow my laptop as his laptop was causing him difficulties and he had important Zoom calls to take today. I said sure and did not think twice about it. What I forgot is that my iMessages are fully connected to my MacBook and you can read everything. Close to every message I've ever sent from my phone number. He read every message thread he could. Conversations with my parents and siblings, friends, even conversations with co-workers and clients. I have never cheated on my boyfriend or even engaged in any behavior close to it. There was nothing for him to find in this respect. We have been together a bit over a year at this point. Conversations presenting him with the biggest problems were conversations with guys that I was involved with previous to him. I have not even spoken to these guys since being with current boyfriend. He had to read every single message because the things that he knew was just weird. Such as me and an ex choosing to not use condoms. He saw nude photos I sent to an ex. He saw disagreements I was having with old flings. He realized there were flings I never told him about. I also went on a few dates with someone who is still a client. We work really well together, and our relationship now is 100% professional. If anything, the dates only led to a better work relationship. I never lied or purposely withheld any of this information. It just never came up and was never even a thought on my mind as something important that he needed to know. Half of the stuff he accused me for never telling him, I had forgotten about and or deemed as just not important. To be fair, they are not things I would be mad about if I were in his shoes. Uncomfortable seeing it maybe, but not mad. And he made himself uncomfortable, not me. My problem is that I feel super invaded, especially as someone who didn't feel they had anything to hide. I'm thinking about leaving him for this. I just can't take having to worry about this. Plus I don't think I'm wrong for anything. Yeah, I get he might have wanted to know I sent nudes to my ex, but in this day and age who cares? I've sent nudes to him too. Why not assume that is something I have done for other partners? I have to rack my brain to list out all of these flings to you that I could care less about. Now he's going to be worried about this client that I work closely with and I don't care to deal with that stress. Advice? I can't deal with the insecurity. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend used my laptop to read old messages with old partners. Saw things I did not disclose to him. I did not purposely withhold information. Thinking about leaving. Edit/update. Some of you guys are wondering how he had the time to go through all of this. I left my laptop at his place the night before he needed it and he had it for the whole entire day. Close to 24 hours. I do think now that the whole thing was a lie and he knew my messages were connected. He had lost his job a few months ago, and me wanting him to find another one. When he said he had important Zoom calls, I didn't even question what they had to do with. I assumed they were job interviews. Some of you guys are also worried about my job being in jeopardy. I'm not. Nothing to worry about with my job. Told him last night, when I went to get my laptop and any other belongings I had at his place, that I wanted nothing to do with him. Yes, very straight to the point, but it's the truth and I don't have the time to beat around the bush. He cried and apologized and begged for me to stay, but the damage had been done. I was set on leaving this loser. I asked him why and he told me he had felt guilty about flirting with some girl, pretty sure it was a lot more than flirting, and was sure I'd do the same thing. TW, abuse. This conversation ended up in him breaking my laptop out of anger. Like dude threw it across his apartment and now I need a new laptop. This made me realize I was in an abusive relationship. He never hit me, but it was your typical emotionally manipulative, gaslighting, and controlling relationship. Trust me when I say I'm done, guys. Staying at my mom's house until further notice. He has a key to my place and don't want to be there alone until the locks get changed. Thinking about filing a police report for the damaged property. Told him I won't file a report if he gives me minimum $1,000 for a new MacBook. I'm done. Might need to talk to a therapist to fully heal, but I'm done. I think that's creepy. Like I know the password to my boyfriend's phone and vice versa. I would never go through messages. That's fucking weird and a huge red flag. Wow, what a prick. This screamed to me that he's been doing something shady and was digging for dirt in trying to make you out to be a bad guy. This seems like classic projection. If I'm wrong about that, the lack of trust and respect for privacy is enough to say your relationship is in deep layers of shit. If he's unwilling to see that what he did is the problem, the only choice is to leave. I also had reason to believe there was something going on that I didn't know about on his end, prior to this. Honestly, it's a huge red flag. Invasion of your privacy in a big way. Just issues he should have brought up with you instead of snooping over. You'd be completely justified in breaking up over this. That's super fucking creepy and a serious invasion of your privacy. His reactions are an attempt to control you and his behavior will only get worse. This was not some type of one-off. Sky is not a long-term prospect for a relationship and your idea about leaving him is a good one. You will never feel safe or secure around this person. I'm definitely leaving. Thanks for confirming my thoughts. I'm not even going to waste any more time explaining myself to him. This is such a huge breach of trust. I think it would be fair to leave him. He didn't do this on accident, seeing one message. He actively read everything and then chose to attack you about things you did in relationships that are long over. That's creepy, controlling, and frankly insane. My girlfriend didn't tell me that she didn't want to have sex, and now I feel like I raped her. I've been dating this girl for a while now and the relationship is going great. She's kind and smart and understanding and I really do like her a lot. We've been having sex almost every day that we see each other for the past few weeks, and I thought that's what she wanted. I've told her multiple times before that I don't want sex if she doesn't, but tonight she told me that she didn't want to have sex almost every day that we did. She said that she only did it because she thought that I wanted to. When she told me this it made me very upset and now I feel like I assaulted her, but I don't know if I have the right to be upset in this situation. She was in a very bad relationship previously and she's told me about how she felt forced into having sex with him, but I don't want to make her feel like she's forced into sex. I'm not upset that she didn't want to have sex, I'm upset that she didn't tell me. What do I do? She was in a very bad relationship previously and she's told me about how she felt forced into having sex with him. I think this line here explains a lot. It seems she's still suffering from the effects of her previous relationship, which from the sounds of things was pretty abusive. It's highly possible this previous partner conditioned her to feel that saying no to sex would lead to abuse. I am absolutely not saying you're abusive, nor do I think she necessarily believes that either. It's just when this sort of things becomes your new normal, it's a hard mindset to get out of. In other words, you haven't been sexually assaulting her, but you are having sex with someone who clearly experienced some sexual trauma, and thus you need to tread a lot lighter than usual. You need to have a proper discussion of boundaries, and always ask her what she wants when it comes to sex and communication. Agreeing to sex because of feelings of obligation isn't the same as being sexually assaulted, and since you didn't know and were under the impression you had her enthusiastic consent, this isn't your fault. But this isn't a typical situation, and you're both going to need to figure out how to move forward when it comes to her dealing with her past traumas. Listen, this happened to me, except flip the gender around. I had an ex-boyfriend who told me out of the blue after load of times after seemingly enthusiastic sex that he initiated 95% of the time, that he felt I used him for sex and that he didn't want to many times and that I coerced him into it. I 100% did not do this and it took me a long time and some horrific guilt and shame to realize that I did nothing wrong. For anyone accusing of coercion or rape, flip the gender and look at my situation. I am an educated woman who understands consent and body language and had been in a number of loving long-term relationships, and would never coerce or push someone's boundaries who didn't want to have sex. What he said absolutely shocked me, and he obviously had some major trauma, like this girl, albeit she has the communication skills to be calm and forward without shaming the op. Please remember that you did nothing wrong. If she didn't communicate with you and enthusiastically participated, how TF are you supposed to know otherwise? You're not a mind reader, and she just needs to keep communicating openly moving forward. Unfortunately with my ex, he wouldn't and I wasn't allowed to initiate or even look his way without being accused of being a sexual heathen, but he was allowed to initiate whenever he wanted, but that's a whole other bag of sexually controlling monkeys. Good luck. Have a serious discussion with her about how she's currently feeling. About how often, these days, is she actually feeling like having sex? Is there something you can do to make her feel more comfortable communicating with you? Maybe you initiating sex should be off the table for a while, since she struggles saying no. Is there a way you can support her in practicing speaking up and setting boundaries? Maybe you two can practice with low stakes options like asking if she wants spaghetti for dinner, and she can say no and say something else she does want, as well as encouraging her to seek therapy if needed. Would a code word system, the stoplight method of green/yellow/red for things, is commonly used by a lot of folk for various uses, or a symbol method, such as tapping out when she doesn't feel like doing something but struggles to verbalize no, help her feel more comfortable sharing how she's feeling? You can also introspect for yourself back on your experiences. How good are you at picking up on body language? Were there possible signs that she was disinterested or not totally enthusiastic that you overlooked at the time? Things you can pay more attention to in the future as you get to know her better? And maybe there weren't, but it's worth thinking about, just in case. There's a problem with communication here due to past experiences. The healthiest thing is for you two to openly acknowledge that and figure out how to improve it together. I cannot stress this enough. You did not assault her. She has to communicate better. This ain't on you. She is communicating now. That's good. Op just needs to talk to her and really figure out how she wants to move forward. Is it immoral for me to consider leaving my girlfriend? My girlfriend, 22F, and I, 23M, have been in a relationship for about 1.5 years. We are both fairly inexperienced in dating, each of us having dated only one person prior to our current relationship. My girlfriend struggles a lot with insecurity and jealousy, and so many times in an effort to console her when these feelings drove her to feeling particularly low, I would say things like, "You're the only one I want, you're the love of my life, I will never leave you, or we'll be together the rest of our lives." I truly meant these things when I said them, but now I realize what a complete fool I am for making these guarantees when I'm only 23 and don't know anything. The past few months I've had many concerns about our relationship that are eating away at me, and as such I haven't repeated any of these guarantees I was making to her before. It's possible I would have ended things by now, but I feel bound by my word and don't know what to do. I'm just an average guy, not some amazing catch, yet based on what I know about her and the things I've said, I feel like ending the relationship would destroy her. Is it immoral for me to leave her/consider leaving her? Any outside perspectives would be very helpful, thank you. If you don't love her and don't want to be with her, it is immoral to stay with her. No, this is how your first/early relationships go. You end up saying things like "I'll love you forever" and "I'll never leave you," and it's really dumb. Luckily though, when you look back in the future, you will see how the feeling of love was always there. It was just dumb to assume it would/could last forever and endure anything. Things happen, people grow apart. It'll be a rough breakup, yay, but it would be morally worse to stay with someone you don't love anymore while lying to them about it.